Welcome to Mysteries of the Missing, a podcast and blog about missing persons cases. You can find my podcast, my blog, and my social media pages on my Linktree at linktr.ee/Mysteries of the Missing. Keep in mind that I am only reporting the events of what have happened per my research through various media outlets. I'm not trained in any way in true crime. Instead, I'm a published author who loves to blog. Also, I'm solely a human being that's trying to do my part to get the message of the story of DeUndrea Ford out there so that one day, hopefully, she may be found and her case may be solved. Join me as I dive into the last day that people saw DeUndrea and what happened after she was last seen. DeUndrea Lakelsia Ford was born on the southeast side of Houston. Today, she is 22 and she has been missing from Houston, Texas since September 21st, 2023. I spoke with her uncle Kevin to get more information. He described DeUndrea as energetic, fun-loving, caring, charismatic, a people person, a good friend, a great listener, very attentive, ambitious, goal-oriented, very driven, and motivated. Also, Kevin says that half of what DeUndrea does is to take care of her son. I'm sure her 4-year-old is missing his mom a lot. DeUndrea's grandmother, Bridget, stated that DeUndrea is a kind person who will do anything for anyone, as well as a loving mother. According to her family, she had a smile that can light up a room. Kevin says that DeUndrea was working to set aside money to better herself. Side note, this episode hits close to home because I'm from Baytown, which is close to the area that DeUndrea went missing from. I would drive in this area on at least a monthly basis on the very same highway that she was last seen near. Very eerie. Now, Houston is a highly violent city. Though there has been a 22% decrease in shootings in the first 7 months of 2023 compared to the same time in 2022, there were 210 murders from January to August. Of all the crime that Houston has seen in 2023, robberies make up 10%, aggravated assaults about 8%, and human trafficking 7%. Kidnappings have gone up to about 9%, and so have sexual assaults, about 5.5%. Growing up in Houston, you knew not to open your car at night if you were driving downtown or in any area close to the city center. In addition, if you were in certain parts of the city, like where I grew up in Baytown, which is also on the southeast side, you knew to be extra careful. In fact, the Texas killing fields are located within the area that DeUndrea went missing from, and Houston is labeled as the top human trafficking city in the country by Yahoo, who used information from the National Human Trafficking Hotline and the U.S. Census Bureau to create their report. Wikipedia states the following, quote, "The main factors that contribute to high levels of trafficking in Houston can be divided into transportation, demographic, and labor factors. The I-10 corridor links El Paso and Houston, and thus allows easy transportation of many of the trafficking victims entering from Latin America. This has made it one of the biggest human trafficking routes in the United States. Additionally, Houston is a popular entryway for internationally trafficked persons due to its 2 large international airports and the Port of Houston, which is the largest international port in the United States and the 13th busiest in the world. Furthermore, Houston's thriving economy has created a huge market for laborers in industries like textiles, agriculture, restaurants, construction, and domestic work. This vast diversity of industries has made it difficult for law enforcement to effectively concentrate on ending human trafficking in any one labor sector. The high frequency of large sporting events, conventions, and other festivities bring in visitors from around the nation, stimulating the growth of Houston's sex industry and making Houston a prime location for trafficking." End quote. Thus, one can see that Houston is not the safest place to live or travel to or through. But it's home. Many people stay because they love it. Houston has a strong community feel to it, and the pride runs deep there. Now, on the evening of September 21st, 2023, DeUndrea was working at her new job, Diva's Bikini Sports Bar and Grill, in the North Shore Jacinto City area of Houston, Texas. This is the southeast side of Houston, which isn't the best area. This location has 4 connecting highways: Highway 90, I-10, which goes all the way to Los Angeles, Beltway 8, which runs toward one of the 2 airports in Houston, George Bush Intercontinental, and 610, which stretches across Houston's entirety. This means many people would have been traveling this area on the night that DeUndrea went missing. It is a well-traveled, highly populated location. Houston itself has a population of 2,264,876 people as of 2023. It's not a small town by any means, but I don't know if you know anything about Texans, but again, our pride goes deep. Whether you're related by blood or not, if you're a Texan, you take care of each other, or at least you're told to do so. Shifting gears back to DeUndrea's case in particular. The fact that DeUndrea has a young child tells me she most likely didn't go missing on her own accord. If she was living with her grandmother and with her child, yes, her grandmother could have taken care of her child, but also she was holding a steady job. Granted, DeUndrea had only been working at Divas for 2 weeks, but that's longer than a day. People don't just leave their steady job or kid unless something else is going on. DeUndrea had been staying with a friend for a week before she disappeared. At 10 p.m. on September 21st, 2023, DeUndrea was dropped off at work by a friend, and another friend would be picking her up after work. That night, a Hispanic man lavished DeUndrea with drinks. DeUndrea called a ride to take her home. Between 1 o'clock to 1:20 a.m., DeUndrea left Divas with the man that she was connecting with, that no one at Divas recognized apparently, and got into his white GMC Savannah 3-door van. Around 2 a.m., when she was in the van, she tried unsuccessfully to call a friend who was asleep. When the friend eventually returned the call the next morning, all of her calls just rang and rang, then went to voicemail. At 2:30 a.m., the man in the van drove off without head or taillights on. No one exited the van. This means that DeUndrea was still in the van when the man drove off, and she was in the van with him for over an hour before he drove off. Was she safe in the van during that hour, or was he harming her? It scares me to the core to think about this situation. When DeUndrea was unsuccessful at getting a ride from her friend at 2 a.m., did this Divas patron offer to take her home? If so, what happened to her afterward? Why would DeUndrea call her friend at 2 a.m. from the van she had gotten into with this patron? Was she afraid, or was something happening and she was reaching out for help? The manager of Divas stated to the police that he had advised his workers never to go home with any men from the bar. Now, the next day, September 22nd, 2023, Bridget reported her granddaughter missing. She told Dateline that it is unlike DeUndrea to go anywhere without contacting her, and that she thinks her granddaughter would not go missing by choice. The family was able to go back to Divas, view the footage, and due to cell data, they were able to go to the house of the man in the van whom DeUndrea went with. When DeUndrea's family knocked on the door, no one answered. Strange. DeUndrea's cell phone was tracked to the man's home as the last location before the phone's location was turned off. Side note, the phone itself hasn't been turned off. When the family calls DeUndrea, her phone rings until it goes to voicemail. Only the location is turned off, which prevented police from tracking her location after the location of the home. This makes me think that either DeUndrea could be at this home still, or she left after the phone's location was turned off. To my knowledge, the home has not been searched yet. The police came to the house after the family told them that no one answered at the last place DeUndrea was found, and they spoke with the family that lived there. The family who lives at the home stated that they didn't know anyone was knocking on their door. After she went missing, the police and the family searched the area around the club, but nothing was found. Kevin was able to determine which direction the van was traveling in when it left the home by using home surveillance on different homes and security systems outside homes in the neighborhood. Neighbors said they didn't see anything because of the time of night, but the family of DeUndrea surveyed the home security systems to see which direction and time the van was traveling in. After the van traveled so far, there were no more houses in the area, so the surveillance stopped. Now, something else was going on in DeUndrea's life before she disappeared. On May 18, 2023, one of 4 suspects, Jarrell Trevon Wheeler, was charged in the murder of 35-year-old Otis Parker. Jarrell's accomplices were Mariah Green, Kitiana Taylor, and Jamal Brown, a.k.a. Bam. What does that have to do with DeUndrea? Well, she may have been a potential victim alongside Otis Parker. Both Otis and DeUndrea were set to be robbed by Mariah, Kitiana, Jamal, and Jarrell for a sum of $1,500. The detectives on the case discovered that Kitiana and Jamal were not only going to rob and kill Otis, but Jamal said via text that DeUndrea needed to go too. As DeUndrea was sleeping in a car that was returning from Louisiana, having worked as a dancer alongside Kitiana for a week, she heard gunshots ring out. Otis was killed, and DeUndrea managed to escape by getting out of the car through the back passenger side door. Scary. On June 30th, 2023, a judge issued a no-contact order between DeUndrea and the defendants. The whole story carries a resemblance to a movie, only it's real. As Jamal Brown was being arrested, he was shot and killed by detectives in a shootout. He had been on the run from cops after the shooting took place. As for the shooting that DeUndrea survived, police say it is not connected to her disappearance. Going back to the case at hand, unfortunately, Kevin and the rest of the family haven't gotten many updates from the HPD, Houston Police Department, in regards to DeUndrea's case. The police did inform the family that the suspect or person of interest, the driver of the van, was detained out of state. The police at that location took his van and cell phone as evidence, which they're currently processing. The police are not releasing the location of where they found the man or where he is to the family or the public. They're also not releasing his name yet. Kevin says that the family has been doing 80% of the legwork to try to get the word out about DeUndrea. Currently, DeUndrea's uncle is working on getting Sheila Jackson Lee and a Houston councilwoman, as well as the assistant chief of police, to work on the case. In addition, he says that Tim Miller of Texas EquiSearch, the new Black Panther Party, congressional members, and private investigators are working on the case. Now, I didn't find DeUndrea's case on EquiSearch's website, but that doesn't mean they aren't helping with her case. No sightings of DeUndrea have been reported to the HPD or the family as of yet. DeUndrea is 5'4", 170 pounds, and has brown eyes and black hair. She has a floral tattoo sleeve on the right arm and a upper forward-facing tattoo on the right shoulder, a large rose tattoo on her right thigh, a Roman numeral tattoo on her forearm, and a hand tattoo near her thumb, along with other tattoos. She was last seen wearing a black tank top and tan pants. DeUndrea, if you're out there, your family is looking for you. I'm sure your son misses you. You are not forgotten, and you are so important to so many people. You matter. I hope that we find you or that you are someplace safe. Anyone with information on Ford's whereabouts may contact the Houston Police Patrol at 713-884-3131 or the Houston Police Missing Persons Division at 832-394-1840. You may also email me at mysteriesofthemissing2023@gmail.com. In addition, DeUndrea's Uncle Kevin says that you may reach out to him with any information at his phone number, 346-628-3868. You can email the family with any tips at finddeundrea@gmail.com or visit the Facebook page for DeUndrea's case by looking for her name on the app or website. It's spelled DeUndrea.